All right, for step 4 in the Entering the Real World project, we're going to be taking a look at the projected budget. If you'll notice in the instruction handout, it indicates that there is a template for this. So you'll need to scroll down to the LRC course pages section for the project and click on the template for Entering the Real World budget, projected budget. You're going to open that document up, and you're going to notice here there's going to be various pieces of information that you're going to need to input into the document. You're going to start with putting your profession, which you had done in the previous section. You're going to have to indicate your expected net salary for the year, and then what your monthly net income will be as well. What you're going to need to do then next is you're going to have to kind of plan out what it is that you anticipate spending on various monthly categories. So for example, we have student loans, we have mortgage and rent, and if you type in some of the information here on the top, you're going to may need to format it just a little bit. So the example is kind of being provided here. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to type in what you kind of anticipate with each of these expenses. Your student loans you should have an understanding of because you've already done that component. The other ones you're going to need to kind of apply some things that we've learned in class. Typically we talked about the fact that your mortgage shouldn't exceed 1/3 of your income. When you're looking at a car payment, that should not exceed 20% of your net income. So these are some things that you guys should consider as you're going through this process and find out what you're comfortable with. It is okay for these to not be 100% accurate. You're going to be doing the research to find out what these are going to cost you exactly. The purpose of this step is to kind of set you off and to get you thinking a little bit about what you anticipate spending in different categories. Okay, so this whole form is going to be filled out. Some of these things you may need to ask Ms. Mayer or myself if you're struggling with. So for example, like property taxes. Typically that's 2% of the purchase price of a house. If you're renting, obviously that's not the case. You don't have to pay property taxes if you're going to be doing that. But the rest of them, utilities, cable, cell phone plan, your vehicle payment, fuel expenses, these are just going to be an educated guess. Okay? And so you're going to fill this form out to the best of your abilities, and there's a few follow-up questions that are located at the bottom of the document. So what it's first going to ask you is based on your estimate, how much money do you anticipate spending per month? Okay, so when it's all said and done, what do you anticipate spending per month? Based on that, how much are you going to have left over from your net monthly income? Okay, so you'll take your monthly net income, subtract your spending, that'll give you an idea of what you'll have left over. And then there's two final questions that ask you a little bit to think about it. If you needed to cut back in certain areas, if you needed to spend less, what would be those first areas that you would look at based upon the research that you're going to do? And then finally, just kind of thinking about this and putting it out here, what are the expenses that you found most difficult to predict? Were there certain ones that you were a little bit more unsure about and why that was the case? Okay, and that's just to kind of get you to think about, what information am I going to really need to learn more about that I'm really unable to predict at this moment in time. So that will do it for stage 4, creating a projected budget. If you have any questions, please let Ms. Mayer or myself know.